Have you ever wondered what really makes an elite athlete's vision, well, elite? Here's a hint. It has almost nothing to do with a 20/20 score on an eye chart. The real secret is all about signal processing. It's about how an athlete's brain can find the crucial signal in a world absolutely jam-packed with visual noise.
You've seen it, right? The star quarterback, eyes like a hawk, is under the stadium lights, and he just throws it to the wrong person. Or the clutch hitter who just watches a perfect pitch go right by. We usually blame it on nerves or a lapse in focus, but what if the real problem is a tiny glitch in the visual signal itself?
You see, the answer isn't on that static wall chart in the doctor's office. It's hidden in a dynamic journey, a signal of light that has to travel from the world, through the eye, and all the way to the brain. And just like any long journey, that signal can get distorted, corrupted, and frankly, beat up along the way.
So let's start that journey right at the beginning. The signal, the light itself, immediately hits its very first obstacle. And this happens before the brain even gets a say in the matter. It all starts the moment light tries to enter the eye. The first major problem is something called ocular stray light. Now, the best way to think about this is like static on an old radio station. Instead of a clean, clear path, light bounces and scatters off structures inside the eye. The main culprit? The cornea, the very front window of the eye. A perfectly healthy cornea is smooth and clear, guiding light perfectly. But any imperfections or conditions that change its shape can cause that light to scatter, creating a hazy veil that just washes out all the important details. And you can literally see the effect right here. On the left, you've got the clean, high-contrast signal an athlete needs. Think of the sharp edge of a tennis ball. Now look to the right. That's the same signal after stray light and glare got their hands on it. It's foggy, washed out, the details are gone. The brain now has to work way harder to figure out what it's even looking at.
And this isn't just a theory. We can actually measure this. For a person with healthy eyes, a glare level of just 125 lux is enough to cause a major drop in their ability to see contrast. And this is especially true in those weird, in-between lighting conditions, like playing at dusk or inside a brightly lit stadium at night. You know, exactly where a ton of sports are played.
So let's be clear. For an athlete, this is everything. This stray light, this glare, it's the difference between seeing the spin on a curveball or just seeing a white blur. It's what makes tracking a fly ball against a bright, hazy sky almost impossible. The signal is being actively sabotaged before it even gets started.
All right, so let's imagine a decent signal manages to punch through that first wall of interference. The journey's next stop is where things get really wild. We're going to the retina, and I promise you, it is not what you think it is.
So forget that old textbook idea of the retina being like the film in a camera, just kind of passively soaking up a picture. That is completely wrong. The retina is an incredibly powerful, layered supercomputer. It takes the raw information from over 125 million tiny light sensors and starts processing it on the spot.
Now, the little processors doing all this heavy lifting are called retinal ganglion cells, or RGCs. These are the output channels. They're the only things that actually send information from the eye to the brain. And get this, there are more than 23 different types of them, and each one is a specialist. They're all looking for something very specific in the scene, and they filter and package that data before the brain ever sees it. This table shows that incredible division of labor. Vision isn't one thing. It's a bunch of parallel data streams happening at once. You've got your midget RGCs. They're the detail artists, picking up color and texture. They're how a batter sees the red seams on a fastball. Then you've got your parasol RGCs. They're the motion detectors, screaming updates about speed and movement. They're how a goalie tracks a puck. It's just an amazing piece of biological engineering.
Okay, the signal has been detected, cleaned up, and sorted by the retina. It's been sent on its way. But the journey's not over. Now it faces its final and, frankly, unavoidable hurdle, the brain's own built-in static.
And you don't have to take my word for it. This quote from research out of Stanford University really nails it. After all of that amazing filtering and processing, there is a fundamental biological limit to what we can perceive. And that limit is the noise generated by our very own brain cells. I mean, think about it. Your brain is a buzzing electrical system, right? And just like any complex system, it has a background hum, a baseline level of static. This is called neural noise. So even if a perfectly clean signal arrives from the eye, the brain still has to find it and hear it over its own internal chatter. And under pressure, that chatter gets louder, making it even harder to pick out the signal from the noise.
So let's put it all together. We have these three distinct stages where that precious visual signal can get messed with.
How does all this neuroscience actually translate to what happens on the field, the court, or the ice?
This simple model really connects the dots. A night game? That's an ocular stray light problem, making it hard to see the ball. Tracking a 100-mile-per-hour fastball? That's limited by your RGC processing speed. If it's not fast enough, your reaction time suffers. And that split-second game-winning decision? That's a battle against neural noise, where your brain is desperately trying to find the signal in its own static.
And this really brings us to the big takeaway. We have to completely change how we think about vision. Being an elite athlete isn't about having a perfect camera for an eyeball, it's about having a superior end-to-end signal processor, one that minimizes noise from the outside, efficiently filters the signal in the retina, and can pull that signal out of the brain's own internal chaos.
Which leaves us with a really fascinating question for the future, doesn't it? If the ultimate limit on performance is noise, both external and internal, then is the next great leap in sports training not going to happen in the weight room, but in a lab? Are we about to see a new wave of training designed not just to make athletes stronger, but to literally train their brains to see through the noise?